Well, now I am going to discuss about the OOPS concept in the Python. When I say OOPS concept, it includes the data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and the polymorphism. When we have the object, we have something to do with the object. Either we name the object or we can extract the features or the properties of that object for our work. And a single object with a multiple names is termed as a polymorphism in the OOPS concept. Like we have the dog, we can name it as a German Shepherd or we can directly call it as a dog. Here a single animal or a single object has a multiple names. This is what we call as a polymorphism. And polymorphism means a class having the many forms. Here we can able to access any class with any of the other classes. For example, here I am going to create a class A, and this is class A, and I am going to write a function hello, hello, and it is going to print hello out of it. And I just copy this and I just paste it here, and I'm going to change this as a B, and this has a hi, and this has a hi. As you know, when I call a dot hello, it is going to print hello, because a class is having the method hello and B class is having the method hi. What if I want to call this hello in a B? Like for example, here we have the a, and I'm going to call the hello, and I just run the program. As you can have a look at here, we have the hello. Why? Because a has a hello function, therefore it has executed successfully. But when I say the same thing with the B, it is going to give me the error. Why? Because it doesn't have any methods like hello, therefore it is going to give us error. Like here we have the type object B has no attributes hello. In such cases we use a polymorphism in which we gonna pass the value of the B as a means this particular B function, it is with the values of the class A. And now I just restart and rerun the program, and you are gonna get the answer as hello. And this is how the polymorphism works. This is a simple code. And next we have the inheritance. As the name suggests, here whatever the properties parent class have or the parent object has, those all the properties are inherited by the child class or the child object. I'm going to discuss about inheritance in the OOPS concept. When I say inheritance, it is something that the properties of parent must be given to the child. That is what we call as the inheritance. And here we can able to implement that inheritance in the Python using this OOPS concept. And here we have a lot of inheritance types. Like we have the single level inheritance, we have the multi-line inheritance, we have the multiple inheritance. In the single inheritance, whatever the parent has, like whatever properties that parent has are directly given to the child, and this is single level. In the multi-line level, whatever the characters that grandparent has is given to the parent, and whatever properties that parent has is given to the child, and this is the multi-line. And after that we come up with a multiple. Here if we have father and mother, the properties of father and mother are different, but the child has some of the properties from the father and some of the properties from the mother, and this is what we call as a multiple inheritance. First of all, I will go with a single line inheritance, in which I am going to use the class A, and I'm going to give some methods under this, like define hello, and whenever I call this hello, it has to print hello as output. And after that I'm going to create a class B, like here I'm going to create a class B, and here I'm going to say hi, and I'm going to replace it hi. And we have the class A and the class B. But here is the thing that we haven't assigned anything to B, so that it could be a child of A. To assign that, we are going to add the class name of A as an argument to the class B, like this. And I just save this, and as you can have a look at here, the class B doesn't have anything like a hello here, like it doesn't have any method that is with the name of hello. And in such case, if I call this B dot hello, it will search for that in its own class. If it is unable to find that hello method in its class, then it is going to call the class A and it is going to give us an output. And this is what we are going to get here. As you can have a look at here, we got our answer as a hello. And this is what we call as a single level inheritance. And then after this we come up with a multi-line inheritance, in which I am going to create a class C, and in the class C I am going to say define name, and whenever I call this method name, it is gonna print the name. Okay, this is the thing. And here I am going to pass the B. And as you can have a look at here, we have the class C. Now I am going to call the two functions that the C doesn't have, like C doesn't have the high function. I'm going to pass the high, and the C class doesn't have the hello. I'm going to call both of them. As you can have a look at here, when I just run the program, we got our answer as a hi and hello. Why? Because whatever properties that class A has are inherited in the class B, and whatever properties that class B had are inherited to the class C. Therefore, whatever properties the class A, class B have are directly inherited to the class C, and this is termed as multi-line inheritance. After that, we come up with a multiple inheritance. If a father and mother, and the properties of father are different and properties of mother are different, but the offspring what is generated from both of them has both the properties. But the properties that the father had need not to be in mother, or whatever the properties that mother had need not to be in father. And this is what we're gonna implement in the inheritance concept, what we call as a multiple inheritance, in which I am going to remove this and I am going to add A comma B. And when I do like this, and I just run the program, you are gonna get a hi and hello. But at the same mode of time, if I call B dot hello, it is going to give me error. Why? Because this class B has not inherited anything from the class A, because it is not a child of class A. As you can have a look at here, we got our error. And this is all about the types of inheritance in the OOPS concept. Now I will discuss how to use a constructor function in the inheritance. You already know that constructor function is one that triggers a class to create an object, and it has every data that you're gonna pass into the class. Therefore, constructor makes an important thing in the inheritance. And passing the constructor is also an important thing, and it is quite different from what we implemented previously. Therefore, I'm going to discuss that. Here we have the class. I'm going to create a class A, and we have a constructor define in it, and as we got a self, and I just remove this, and I'm going to print it. Whenever this particular constructor function is triggered, then it is going to create an object. Therefore, we have triggered it, and whenever it is called, I'm going to say A in it, and I just remove this, and I am going to create a class B, and here, as same as that, I'm going to use init, and we got our self, and we got all these things. I'm just going to print that this is the init of B. And as you know, whenever we want to inherit some of the properties from the parent class, we are gonna assign that class name as an argument to the class of child. And now I'm going to say B, P equal to B, and next I'm going to say P dot init, and I just run the program. As you can have a look at here, we called the init function of the B. In such case, it has to print. In such case, it has to print both the init function of A and B, but it is only printing the init function or the constructor function of B only. And this is what happens when you try to pass the constructor between the two classes. To resolve this thing only, we have the superset, like we have the super, and using this super we are going to assign the init function, and I just run it. As you can have a look at here, when we use the super class using the init, it has called the class A constructor function into here, and it has printed the thing, and we got our answer as a init and B init. It is printing twice because I use means I have called the function twice, therefore I just remove this and I run again. Now it is going to print A init and B init separately, and this is what we are going to deal whenever we are accessing the constructor from the parent class, and this is all about it. Thank you.